Right friends, welcome back to questions and answers advanced 52nd week. We are going to discuss 10 questions which require detailed explanation. Look at the first question, consider the following statements. Developed countries keep near zero interest levels with frequent bond buying programs. Developed countries, if you look at United States of America, then 19-member Eurozone, where European Central Bank is the regulatory bank, or you can say central bank. Japan, United Kingdom, these are all examples of advanced economies. What they are doing is, for the past several years, they are keeping near zero interest rates. They are keeping benchmark interest rates ranging from around 0.5% to 1%, and some of the central banks are keeping interest rates below 0.5% also. The two problems which the emerging economies are encountering because of the advanced economies monetary policies are, the first problem is they are keeping very low interest levels. Second is, frequently they are resorting to bond buying program. That means buying the government securities and giving a lot of liquidity in the system. That means more money availability in the system because of low interest rates and frequent bond buying programs. If you look into their economies for the past several years, these two are the hallmarks of their monetary policies. So the advanced economies are frequently resorting to bond buying programs and are keeping near zero interest levels. This is the right sentence. They are doing it basically with a view to get reasonable GDP growth, or you can say reasonable GDP figures they want, and at the same time, second important point is they want at least reasonable inflation, because several advanced economies are struggling to have inflation even up to 1.5 to 2%. Inflation is the biggest problem of emerging economies, but not having proper inflation is the big problem of developed countries. So as to ensure reasonable inflation, so as to ensure reasonable GDP growth, they are resorting to these two types of practices. But this is affecting emerging economies because of low interest rates. Lot of capital is flowing to emerging economies. When the developed countries are increasing interest rates, capital is again flowing back, which is known as capital flight. So this capital flows towards emerging economies and capital flight away from emerging economies, that is causing misery to the emerging economies, because of which the emerging economies are facing shocks in their economies. So if you look at three sentences, the first sentence is correct. Second one is, this is called expansionary monetary policy. So please correct the sentence. Frequent bond buying programs as well as keeping interest levels close to zero are the hallmark of advanced economies monetary policy, and this is called expansionary monetary policy. Contractionary monetary policy is increasing the interest rates, right? So please correct the second sentence. Third sentence is, because of this emerging economies are affected badly. This is also correct. Because of expansionary monetary policy of developed countries, emerging economies are affected badly. So right sentences are 1 and 3. Right option is 3. Look into the next one. Consider the following statements. CDSCO. CDSCO is a Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. I would like to explain two things with this question. One is, there are two organizations. One is the CDSCO. CDSCO is Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, that is under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. There are four things which should come to your mind. It is the regulatory body for import of drugs. Second is, it looks at clinical trials. You may ask, what is clinical trial? Clinical trial is testing a drug for its efficiency. Third one is, it gives approval for licenses for drugs. And fourth and the important point is, this CDSCO is associated with National List of Essential Medicines, or NLEM. So, these 4 aspects are associated with the CDSCO, and this is under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And if you look at NPPA, NPPA is National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. It fixes the prices of bulk drugs primarily in the National List of Essential Medicines under Drugs Price Control Order 2013. But NPPA, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, is under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. So, the basic difference is CDSCO is under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and NPPA is under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. So, given sentences 1 and 2 are correct. Third sentence is wrong. Please correct it. CDSCO is under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and NPPA is under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, specifically Department of Pharmaceuticals. So, please correct the third sentence. Look at the next one. As per the Bankruptcy Bill introduced in Parliament, all the insolvency cases are to be resolved within 180 days. I would like to tell you a few points. T.K. Viswanathan Committee is associated with this Bankruptcy Bill. That committee gave its report. Primarily, failure of businesses is common. In case of failure of business, the existing mechanism in our country is there are several agencies dealing with failure of businesses, and it is taking almost 5 to 15 years for a failed company to come out of it. So, the basic objective of this bankruptcy bill is all the cases pertaining to failure of businesses are to be resolved within 180 days. So, that is the main purpose of this bankruptcy bill, and India so far did not have any bankruptcy code, and this will ensure bankruptcy code in future. So, recently this bankruptcy bill was introduced in Parliament, and please remember all the insolvency cases are to be resolved within 180 days once this bill becomes an act. Look at the next one. Centre launched Agri-Market mobile app. Recently, central government, Ministry of Agriculture launched Agri-Market mobile app, and it tracks the prices of crops in markets within 50 kilometers of their device location. So, all the agricultural produces rates within 50 kilometers of the device location will be available through this Agri-Market mobile app. This is available in Hindi and English, and the cost of agricultural commodities is sourced from AgMarkNet portal, and at the same time the Agriculture Minister Radha Mohan Singh also stated that in the month of January government will come up with a new crop insurance scheme. There are 3 crop insurance schemes in this country, but the premium is very high, and at present the crops covered under insurance scheme are not high in this country, and several farmers are leading their lives without crop insurance, which is causing misery to the farmers in case of crop failure. As per the report released by Government of India, India's wind potential at a hub height of 100 meters stands at 302 gigawatt. 302 gigawatt means 3 lakh megawatt. So, at hub height of 100 meters, what is hub height? Hub height is basically the distance between the base of wind power, you can say ground level, up to the point where the blades are fixed. The wind potential or the maximum wind power which can be extracted depends on the hub height. Hub height is the distance between the base and the place where blades are fixed, and by taking 100 meters of hub height, the maximum wind potential in this country stands at 302 gigawatt as assessed by Government of India recently. Look at the next question. Recently, Falcon 9 rocket successfully came back to Earth, paving the way for reusable rockets. So far, the rockets, after placing satellites into orbit, cannot come back to Earth in reusable conditions. Normally, when they are coming back to Earth, they will break up because of intense heat generated subsequent to re-entering the atmosphere. Normally, they are made to fall in oceans or seas. Now, Falcon 9 rocket is of SpaceX. SpaceX is promoted by Elon Musk, and this SpaceX recently successfully came up with the idea of reusable rockets, and Falcon 9 is the rocket which came back to Earth successfully. That means the era of reusable rockets may start, because less than a month ago, Blue Origin of Amazon's Jeff Bezos returned to Earth safely. So this Blue Origin was sent by Jeff Bezos of Amazon, and this Falcon 9 rocket was sent by Elon Musk of Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, or SpaceX. Right? So the era of reusable rockets may start if these experiments come true in near future. Look at the next question. Union Environment Ministry has notified the revised norms of emission standards for coal-based power projects. Keeping air pollution in view, recently Environment Ministry notified the norms for coal-based power projects. For all the new power projects which are going to be implemented, these will take into effect from 1st January 2017. But existing power plants have to meet these stipulations within 2 years. That means, so as to reduce air pollution, revised norms were brought by Union Environment Ministry. For new plants, it has to be ensured from 1st January 2017, but existing plants have to modify within 2 years. You may ask, what are the changes? First one is the PM10, that is particulate matter 10. As per the new norm, it should be 30 milligrams per meter cube, and existing norm is 100 milligrams per meter cube. And if you look at sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides, it is 100 milligrams per meter cube, whereas the present norm is 600 milligrams per meter cube. There will be substantial improvement in air quality once these comes into force. Right? So the new norms will be effective for the new plants from 1st January 2017. Name the country which officially ended one-child policy from 1st January 2016. China decided to end the policy of one-child norm altogether because lot of grey population in the country and young population reduced substantially subsequent to the implementation of this one-child policy in the year 1978. So, after around 37 years, China abolished one-child policy, and from now onwards, all the couples will be allowed to have 2 children. India's first naval base in Indian Ocean will come up at Assumption Island, and this belongs to Seychelles. Seychelles is a country in Indian Ocean, and last year the Prime Minister visited Seychelles, and at that time it was decided that India will establish a naval base at Assumption Island. Right? Look into the last question. Financial Stability Report is released by Reserve Bank of India twice in a year, whereas Global Financial Stability Report is released by International Monetary Fund, and Financial Stability Report in our country is released by Reserve Bank of India once in 6 months or twice in a year. Right friends, with this let us conclude questions and answers advanced, and please do join for other modules. Have a nice day. Thank you.